Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tech Sensory Solutions. Today's episode focuses on arcade machines and their history. An arcade machine is a type of coin-operated gaming device typically found in public places like arcades, malls, or entertainment centers. These machines allow players to insert coins or tokens to play a video game, and they often feature a dedicated cabinet, screen, joystick, buttons, and sometimes a trackball or a pedal depending on the game. Arcade machines were incredibly popular from the 1970s through the 1990s, and while their prominence has declined, they remain iconic in gaming culture. The development of arcade machines was a gradual process, but one key early figure is Ralph H. Parr. Often called the father of video games, Parr designed the first home console, the Magnavox Odyssey, but he also worked on the first arcade game concept. However, the game that is widely recognized as the first successful arcade machine was Computer Space, created by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney in 1971. Bushnell and Dabney later went on to found Atari, which became a major player in arcade gaming. The first successful arcade game was Pong 1972, developed by Nolan Bushnell and released by Atari. While it wasn't the first video game ever, as there were earlier games like Spacewar and Computer Space, Pong was the first to be commercially successful. It was a simple-to-player ping-pong simulation, but its widespread appeal made it a massive hit and helped establish the video game industry. How are arcade machines made? Arcade machines are built around a few key components: cabinet, the large outer shell or body of the arcade machine. It's typically made from wood, metal, and plastic. Display. A curved cathode ray tube was traditionally used, but modern machines often use LCD screens. Controls includes buttons, joysticks, and sometimes trackballs, steering wheels, or pedals, depending on the type of game. Game hardware. This includes the main board or circuit boards, which house the game's processors, memory, and other electronics. Power supply. Arcade machines run on external power, typically from a standard AC power source. Sound. Audio output, often with speakers built into the machine for immersive sound effects. Coin mechanism, a coin slot that allows players to insert coins or tokens to play the game. The production of arcade machines requires precision in both electronics and mechanical engineering, as well as good design for user experience and durability. How have arcade machines evolved over the years? Over time, arcade machines have undergone major changes in terms of technology, design, and gaming experiences. Some key evolutions include graphics. Early arcade machines used simple pixelated graphics, often in black and white, but by the 1980s, they transitioned to color and more detailed visuals. Sound. Sound started off as beeps and simple tones, but became more sophisticated, with music and voiceovers. Game complexity. Early arcade games were simple, but as technology advanced, so did the complexity of games, introducing narrative-driven games, 3D graphics, and multiplayer experiences. Cabinet design. Initially, arcade machines were just basic boxes, but as they became more immersive, cabinets were designed to include features like force feedback, movement for example in racing or flight simulators, and even VR in some cases. Technology. The shift from analog systems and simple chips to digital technology, with processors, memory chips, and microcontrollers, allowed for more complex games. Arcade machines can be divided into various categories based on the type of game they offer. Pinball machines. These use mechanical elements combined with electronics to provide a different type of gaming experience. Players use flippers to keep a ball in play and score points by hitting targets. Video game machines. These are the most common arcade machines and run video games with screens. They can be further divided into genres like platformers, shooters, fighting games, and racing games. Rhythm-I exercise machines. These involve motion-based gameplay, like the dance pads in ***, Dance Dance Revolution ***, or exercise bikes in some fitness-themed games. Redemption machines. These are typically skill-based games where players can win tickets that can be redeemed for prizes like crane machines or coin pushers. Simulator machines. These include flight or driving simulators that offer more physical interaction with the game, often including motion feedback. The most popular arcade games of all time are often considered iconic because they shaped the arcade scene, influenced video gaming culture, and earned significant commercial success. These games became legends in the industry, either through gameplay innovation, graphic and technical advancements, or simply their massive appeal. Here are some of the most beloved and successful arcade games. 1. Pong 1972. Developer, Atari. Nolan Bushnell. Genre, sports ping pong. Why it's popular? As the first commercially successful arcade game, Pong is often considered the game that started the entire video game revolution. Its simplicity, players control paddles to bounce a ball back and forth, made it easy to learn and incredibly addictive. 2. Space Invaders 1978. Developer, Taito Tomohiro Nishikado. Genre, shooter. Why it's popular? Space Invaders is credited with creating the first shooter genre, where players use a gun to defeat incoming enemies, aliens. The game's innovation was in its use of a progressively harder difficulty curve and its distinct alien sprites. It was a massive hit and helped popularize arcades globally. 3. Pac-Man 1980. Developer, Namco Toru Iwatani. Genre, Maze Chase. Why it's popular? Pac-Man became a cultural icon, known not just for its gameplay, but for its bright, colorful design and character appeal. Players control Pac-Man, eating pellets and avoiding ghosts. The game's design attracted a broad demographic, including women, and its popularity sparked a whole media franchise. 4. Donkey Kong 1981. Developer, Nintendo. Shigeru Miyamoto. Genre, platformer. Why it's popular? Donkey Kong introduced players to Mario, then called Jumpin', and was one of the first games to feature a narrative-driven structure. Players must rescue a damsel in distress from a giant ape, climbing ladders, and avoiding obstacles. It was a huge hit and helped Nintendo become a leading video game company. 5. Galaga 1981. Developer, Namco. Genre, shooter. Why it's popular? A spiritual successor to Space Invaders, Galaga introduced more advanced mechanics, including capturing your ship with enemy fire and allowing you to rescue it. The game's fast-paced action, power-ups, and strategy elements made it an arcade favorite. 6. Ms. Pac-Man 1982. Developer, Midway. Namco's partner. Genre, Maze Chase. Why it's popular? Ms. Pac-Man was a huge success in its own right, improving on the original Pac-Man formula with new mazes, improved AI for the ghosts, and the addition of a female protagonist. It was one of the best-selling arcade games of all time. 7. Asteroids 1979. Developer, Atari. Genre, shooter. Why it's popular? Asteroids was groundbreaking in its vector-based graphics and the way it made players feel like they were in deep space, floating through an asteroid field. The gameplay, where players shoot at asteroids and flying saucers, was simple but challenging, making it an enduring arcade classic. 8. Frogger 1981. Developer, Konami. Genre, action, puzzle. Why it's popular? Frogger is one of the most famous arcade games, known for its charming graphics and its gameplay, where you guide a frog across busy roads and rivers. The game's difficulty and its simple, yet addictive nature kept players coming back. 9. Street Fighter to 1991. Developer, Capcom. Genre, fighting. Why it's popular? Street Fighter to revolutionize the fighting game genre, popularizing one-on-one combat with unique characters and special moves. Its gameplay depth, character selection, and innovation in multiplayer made it one of the most influential arcade games, inspiring countless sequels and spin-offs. 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1989. Developer, Konami. Genre, beat 'em up. Why it's popular? Based on the popular animated series, the TMNT arcade game allowed players to control their favorite turtle and battle through waves of enemies in an action-packed side-scrolling beat-em-up. It was a massive success due to its multiplayer feature, fun gameplay, and the franchise's popularity at the time. 11. Mortal Kombat 1992. Developer, Midway. Genre, fighting. Why it's popular? Mortal Kombat gained instant fame for its over-the-top violence, including brutal fatalities, and introduced digitized actors for character sprites, creating a sense of realism that other fighters lacked. Its gore led to much controversy, but it also helped push for stricter ratings in video games. 12. Centipede 1980. Developer, Atari. Genre, shooter. Why it's popular? Centipede was a fast-paced shooter where players used a trackball to control their shooter and take down a centipede and other bugs. Its unique control system and addictive gameplay made it one of the most played games of its era. 13. Dance Dance Revolution 1998. Developer, Konami. Genre, rhythm, exercise. Why it's popular? DDR brought a new type of arcade game that combined physical activity with gaming. Players stand on a dance pad and step on arrows that correspond to the beat of the music. It was a massive hit worldwide, and its influence can still be seen in rhythm games today. 14. The Simpsons 1991. Developer, Konami. Genre, beat 'em up. Why it's popular? Based on the animated TV show, The Simpsons arcade game let players control Homer, Marge, Bart, or Lisa as they fought through levels to rescue Maggie. It's fun. Cooperative gameplay and beloved characters made it one of the most memorable arcade experiences of the 90s. 15. Breakout 1976. Developer, Atari. Nolan Bushnell and Steve Bristow. Genre, block breaker. Why it's popular? Breakout is one of the earliest examples of the block breaker genre, later popularized by games like Arkanoid. Players bounce a ball off a paddle to break blocks on the screen. The simple, addictive nature of the game made it a classic in arcade history. Why did these games become so popular? Simplicity. Most of these games had relatively simple mechanics, which made them accessible to a wide range of players. Addictiveness. Many of these games featured high-score chasing and challenging gameplay that kept players coming back. Cultural impact. Games like Pac-Man, Street Fighter II, and Mortal Kombat transcended the arcade, becoming part of pop culture with TV shows, movies, and merchandising. Multiplayer. Many of these games featured co-op play or competitive multiplayer, encouraging social interaction and making them more fun in group settings. While these titles represent some of the most influential and widely loved arcade games, there are many others that also played a significant role in the evolution of gaming and the arcade experience. Decline of arcade machines. The decline of arcade machines can be traced to several factors. Home consoles. As home gaming systems like the Atari 2600, Nintendo Entertainment System NES, and later systems became more affordable and sophisticated, players began to prefer gaming at home rather than spending money on arcade machines. Improved graphics and gameplay. Home consoles improved to the point where they could offer experiences nearly identical to those of arcades, making arcade visits less appealing. Personal devices. The rise of smartphones and portable gaming devices like the Nintendo Switch provided on-the-go gaming, further reducing the need for arcades. Cost. The rising costs to operate arcade machines, including maintenance and the need for high-volume traffic, made it difficult for many arcades to stay profitable. Social trends. As gaming became more personal and online multiplayer grew in popularity, the social experience of visiting an arcade faded. While arcades have seen a significant decline in the past couple of decades, there has been a resurgence in the form of arcade bars or retro arcades, where nostalgia plays a big part, and a niche community of gamers still enjoys the unique experience arcade machines provide, even though their heyday has passed. Arcade machines hold a special place in gaming history and remain influential in the development of video games today. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. If you want more content like this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Until next time, may legends be born.